We are the Hit Squad with 101 ESPN. I'm Chad Range. He's Jesse Finney, and he is leading 22-11. I am 19-14 when it comes to these predictions. Now, is how we do this. We do the free on Fox, and we do the main pay-per-view card for the UFC Championships. 162 is going to be happening this Saturday in Las Vegas. Of course, the big headline is Anderson Silva, 33-4, taking on Chris Weidman, 9-0. We did discuss that. Obviously, they're big fans of Chris Weidman in the UFC, and we'll get into this. But UFC, it seems a little political. If you're marketable, like Chris Weidman is, that they give him an early shot there at Silva. But they say he's been waiting. Only 9-0, though. It's interesting.
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. But I also say, isn't life political?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it
really,
is.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it all really is. But at the same time, I mean, Chris Weidman is a guy that I wouldn't say deserves a shot at 9-0. But what they are thinking, this is what I think they're thinking is, man, this kid's very young in his career. He doesn't have, 40 fights like Anderson, right. 35, 40 fights like Anderson. So he's thinking, okay, well, he has 9 fights, so his body's not that beat up. He's a guy that we can actually go to for many years to come. And you know what? He could be our champion for many years. And they could say what they want, but at the same time, politically correct or not, they're going to want someone that's going to speak English, so he can relate more to the general public,
to the American public.
To the American public.
That's where the money is.
That's
made.
where the money is at.
And
realistically, and Anderson plays the game. Anderson can speak English, but he doesn't speak it that well, so he doesn't want to go on camera and do that. But I also say this: if you can get someone like a Chris Weidman out there in the general public that can speak English and it does very well. And it relates to your wife, relates to my wife, just to the general people. Yep. It's going to do well for the sport. So why not give him? And they also think he's a superstar in the making.
Now, Anderson Silva, I mean,
I want to say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
All right, no, go ahead.
Make no bones about it. They're not going to give him a shot if they don't think he can.
They're not going to put him out there and let him
we're going to throw someone out here just to get him a fight.
Let this guy get smashed. Yeah, no, I do understand that. Now, it is interesting because I was reading on ESPN, Mixed Martial Arts, great website. If you haven't gone to it, check it out. But Anderson, he might not speak very good English, but he let it know that he thinks George St. Pierre is dodging him.
Well, he's not just dodging him. You can say what you want, but you got a man that walks at 220 pounds, 230 pounds at times, at Anderson Silva, a guy that's 190 pounds. So you can dodge all you want and dodge all you want. You know what? Sometimes it becomes it's not as smart.
Yeah, it's not a smart fight.
And that's and you know what? Hey, listen, to say what you want, but at the end of the day, this is a business. And just because a fight's a fight, he's just going to say, oh, well, he's not going to fight me. Well, you know what? I mean,
good for George St. Pierre for not taking a bad fight.
Mike Tyson was going to fight Arturo Gatti. So I mean, it's two different worlds out there, man. I mean, you got guys that's 40 pounds, 50 pounds difference.
Right. I mean, who can blame him?
Who can blame him? And I'm not saying that he actually is, because
good point.
He hasn't gotten where he's gotten from being stupid.
No.
And I'm talking about George St. Pierre.
And he's fighting in November now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And listen, I'm
interesting
not just,
things happening.
It really is.
Let
me finish with saying this: is like George St. Pierre is not going to dodge a fight from anybody. That's number one. George St. Pierre also is not going to take something stupid because he has people behind him that are politically making the right calls and the right things in business, and also saying, hey, we're advising you in the correct way to not go out and take this fight because it can hurt your legacy.
Absolutely.
It's not just about saying he can't win a fight, but why go out and fight a man that could be 40, 50 pounds heavier
You're setting yourself up for failure.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
And here's my question. I don't know, maybe this would be great for the poll question. Hit Squad at 101sports.com, at Hit Squad 101 ESPN on Twitter. But, I mean, who would you rather see? John Jones and Anderson Silva, or Silva and GSP? Right now, my vote would be I'd want Jones. I just think they're both hot. I think, like you said, I think it's more stylistically intriguing to me.
There's a lot to be said here, though. And you know what? I agree with you. I think today, I'd rather see that fight. What happens if the big spoiler here in this whole big thing is Chris Weidman?
Yeah, there you go.
Now Chris Weidman goes out and he beats Anderson Silva. Then what would you rather see?
Honestly,
Or would you rather see Weidman and Jones?
No, I want to see Silva.
I agree.
I agree
with you.
This is how I feel about this. Is I was promised either GSP and Silva or Jones and Silva. And we're coming up. Maybe I should have noted exactly. He said within the year. I wanted to know if he calendar year.
I think it's calendar year.
So that would have to put. If I'm doing the math, it'd be a New Year's ish fight.
New Year's Eve. John Jones
and Silva.
Anderson Silva. Win, lose, or draw. That's my prediction.
It's not in so. Yeah,
just so you know. I mean, I don't have any. I do know a lot of the guys at UFC, but no one's ever said that to me. That's me making that up on my own.
I like it, and I hope it happens, man. That would be a fantastic fight. And honestly, that's the one I want to see.
Then we know what you're doing New Year's Eve.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hunkering down and watching some fantastic fights. And we do have some fantastic fights coming up. Actually, we don't even have to wait till New Year's Eve. You can just do it this Saturday, and we're going to get started with those predictions. Now, of course, as I said, I'm trailing 19-14 after going 0-5 on my last predictions. Hey, I was 4-0 on the predictions before that.
Yes, you were.
I do want to say
yes,
that.
You were.
You are comfortably in the lead now, 22-11, but we're going to get started with Tim Bosch and Mark Munoz.
Let me say this. I could be comfortable in the lead right now. But I will also say this: there was a time that you were beating me.
Yeah, I had
and I also say this:
leads, yeah.
with these fights this weekend that are so well matched by Joe Silva in the UFC, I could go on 0-5 like you did last week very quick.
I was going to see if I had a coin handy.
Exactly. These are great fights coming up.
That's exactly. I was just going to flip the coin and let it be pick. Because they could probably do as good as I can. But we're going to start off middleweight 185. Tim Bosch taking on Mark Munoz. Tim Bosch is 16-5. Mark Munoz is 12-3. Obviously, with the records, they're very close. But I'm going with Munoz in this one.
You're going to go with Munoz, and I will actually agree with you and go with Mark Munoz on this one as well. Now, I will say that we talked just a second ago off air, and you told me I was going to go first, but I guess now you're going to go first.
Right.
He took my spot. That's okay.
That's right.
That's all right.
All right. Well, do you want me to go first on this one then?
It doesn't matter.
I tell you what,
there really is nothing here that
you're hiding anyway.
Okay. I mean, you're. I'll never tell you my secrets anymore from off air. But that's okay. That's dirty pool. We all know it.
That's how I play, my friends. That's how I play. Featherweight 145. Dennis Silva taking on Cub Swanson. Now, Cub had a big loss to Jose Aldo. I'm saying Cub comes back.
Well, then I'll go ahead and take my. Is this my pick or your pick? Or are you just going to go?
I just went ahead and went with Cub Swanson.
Okay.
I just don't play by any rules.
You don't play by any rules.
I don't listen worth a hoot.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm going to actually go ahead and go with Cub Swanson on this one as well. I think it's going to be a very, very, very good fight. I think this could be fight of the night at the end of the night. So I will go ahead and go with Cub Swanson as well. Now, do I get pick on this one or you get to pick? I mean, so
I'll give you this one finally.
I appreciate that.
Hey, work you in here. Middleweight 185, Tim Kennedy, who's made some news with the fight money type.
That's one. Yes. And one thing about Tim Kennedy as well, they gave him a very good fight in this, a very good winnable fight. When you beat a guy named Gracie, you're going to put yourself on the map. You know, I'm going to go ahead and go with Tim Kennedy on this one. But, you know, stop being a crybaby. And I'm a Tim Kennedy fan. I always have been. But, you know, I've been very disappointed in his actions and speaking the way that he has because he also represents the U.S. military as well. And you don't go out and be a crybaby the way he did. But I will actually go as go ahead and go with Tim Kennedy as my predict to win this fight.
Now, do you think that was just totally blown out by the media, or do you think maybe...
No, I think he was a baby.
He was a baby. All right,
I think he was a baby.
And
if he wasn't, he should have took to Twitter, he should have took to Facebook, and should have went out there right away and started defending himself. And then when it got out that he was being a baby, then the next couple of days he started defending himself.
He doesn't look like such a baby then.
No.
I gotcha. Well, I tell you what, I think I'm going with Tim Kennedy as well. So we're on the same page on all these thus far. One of the reasons is I do think because of everything, he knows he needs to bring it.
He knows he needs to bring it.
You know, I think he has a lot of eyes on him. This is the guy who's complaining about his pay and this, that, and the other. Dana White called him out, so I think he's going to, and as you say, he's a military guy. I bet he goes out there, sacrifices up.
If it goes down to the ground at jiu-jitsu-wise, he's in trouble because Hunter Gracie is one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world.
You got to name Gracie.
Just because he's a Gracie doesn't make him great. He's actually made himself great. He is a great jiu-jitsu guy for mixed martial arts. I mean, he is one of the best in the world. Now, if Tim Kennedy can keep it up, and Gracie does not have the best wrestling, so Gracie's going to try to take him down. But I will go with Tim Kennedy on this no matter what.
Roger Gracie, 6-1, like you said, he's got that name. But what a job getting on the 162 card there on the pay-per-view style. So good for them. We got a featherweight, Frankie Edgar, Charles Oliveira. I'm going Frankie.
Oh, no. This is going to be bad.
Are we?
Yeah, no kid. I will go ahead. I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar as well on this one. Now, this one could be a big upset in a lot of people's eyes. And I really do think that Charles Oliveira has a very good chance of this, but Frankie Edgar, I'm going to go with Frankie. It's going to be a good fight. Any which way, this could be another one. And this card is stacked, but they always do the holiday cards and they stack them up. There's a lot of good cards coming up, but this is one of the best ones coming up.
Absolutely. And of course, the Big Daddy, the Spider, Anderson Silva taking on Chris Weidman. I've been waiting to see Anderson fight for a while now.
How do you vote against Anderson Silva? How do you pick against him? This is the man that knows how to win. That's all the man knows how to do. Now, my heart tells me, my brain tells me Anderson Silva. Okay, it says, you know what? But I've said this all along. If there's a guy out there that can beat Anderson Silva, I've been saying this for 6 months. It really has from the beginning of the year. And I'm going to go with Chris Weidman. And I know, now I also say, I'm not defending my actions here by any means. Anderson Silva should win this fight because if you look at it logically on paper, look at the fights. If you got a guy that's got, 37 fights, you got a guy that's got 9 fights. Now, this is a big upset. I know that I'm going on record and going way above, but I'm going to go Chris Weidman. I really am. Now, it will not surprise me if Anderson Silva wins. I'm rooting for Chris Weidman. I hope he wins. And that's my prediction here.
You want 2-to-1 odds on that?
No, I'm going to take straight up.
I like it. I'm going with Silva.
Good.
I will.
Good.
So there, we finally disagreed on one, and who would have thought it would have been that one? But it'll be interesting.
It's good fights.
Yeah.
And I want to say something just
go
real
right
quick.
ahead. You get
Down
it.
at the Lumiere Casino, they're going to have the fights at the Stadium Sports Bar for free. Anybody else that's out there that wants us to promote and help them with it, hit us up. Hit us up on our email. Hit us up on our Facebook. Hit us up on Twitter, and we will promote where you guys are watching the fights. But I will tell you that the Lumiere Casino, the Stadium Sports Bar, will have the fights tonight, or Saturday night, for free.
That sounds like a good Saturday night weekend.
Saturday night, the Stadium Sports Bar. We'll be down there.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. Well, coming up on 101sports.com, we're going to be talking to Josh Gross, the ESPN MMA insider. That's coming up next.